Hello and welcome back to HEMA Fight Breakdowns. Today I want to break down something relatively simple but similarly important, and that is the direct thrust with no real setup other than position. It seems like a bit of a no-brainer, but it's something that I've identified in my own fencing, and it's something that I see in a lot of other people's fencing too, which is when they start getting good at thrusting, they start also overcomplicating it a bit. And something that I see myself do a lot, and that you'll see me do in this exchange, is make basically far too many motions, too many feints, too many Dirtschwechsels. And in an attempt to confuse my opponent, I open myself up to just direct action. And you see this in thrusts and cuts and all kinds of different things. But I think this is a very good indication of what I'm talking about. So it looked like I mostly just missed, but if we break this down a little bit, you see me bobbing up and down, raising my sword, lowering my sword, moving my tip around to try to confuse my opponent into biting on something that's not there. And this can work for a lot of people. Sometimes just having your point on line and making just the smallest little extension will get them to swing wildly at it. But that is not the case. I present a bit of a threat here with the attempt of basically duping my opponent into attacking. He lowers his tip to me, and the second he does this, I immediately go for my thrust. But the problem is that I think that I have baited my opponent into hitting my blade, where that is not what has happened here. So as soon as I feel no contact on my blade, I go for my own thrust, not realizing that by the time my opponent has reached this position, it's already too late. I should be parrying here and not thrusting. I'm also doing something that I've identified in a previous video, which is flicking my tip in. And all of this extraneous motion, all of these extraneous feints, all of this attempted mind game has basically put me in a position where I have taken far too much time playing my own game and have waited until the point is basically already planted in my chest before I've really presented a credible threat. So as you would expect, my opponent plants his thrust right in my right shoulder, which stuffs my thrust, causing me to, upon point of contact, weave my own sword back and forth. But one thing that's clear here is that because of the good structure and good extension from my opponent, despite the fact that I am also trying to thrust, I do not have the range to actually land it. And that might be confusing to some people because I think in a lot of instances, it makes sense that if you have been stabbed and the line is not closed, you should be able to stab back. But as thrusting is entirely based off of distance and range mechanics, there are a lot of things that you can do to keep yourself safe while landing a thrust that have absolutely nothing to do with whether or not you are trying to thrust back or have closed the line. In this case, my opponent has successfully stabbed the closest target that he could probably hit, the inside of my right shoulder. And as a result, even with fully extended arms, I have no reach available. I am lacking that crucial 1 to 2 inches that I need to actually plant my sword in his chest. So this is something that I recommend everybody do every once in a while, which is to go back to basics, go back to utter simplicity, and just work on stabbing in the most direct way, the shortest distance between the 2 points, and stabbing the closest target, and to see how that can keep you safe in areas where extremely complicated Dirtschwechsels, feints, footwork will sometimes get you into trouble. All right, that's going to be it for today. If you'd like to see your own footage featured on the channel, feel free to send me an email at HEMAFightBreakdowns@gmail.com, and I hope to see you next time.